All right, and we're live once again. Happy Friday, everybody. Today is April 17th, and you're hanging out with my community manager, the community built by, for, and managed by community managers. If you love what you're seeing today and you want to participate or come hang out with us or have a great idea for a topic, head on over to mycmgr.com, click on participate. That's how we get our ideas, throw together these awesome Fridays, and really we want to see what do you want, right? So speaking of that, let's figure out what we have going on this week. So Periscope, Meerkat, Livestream, Google Plus, Hangouts on Air, Ustream, Twitch, Nurph. There's probably some other video platforms out there that we've missed in our roundup, but really, I think we're seeing video spring up all around us. I know last year we spoke with some community managers about video, who manage video communities, and they give us some great tips like how to loosen up or freshen up or whatever right before we get on camera so we don't feel too nervous. And so this week we're going to take a little bit a slightly different approach or direction, and we're going to discuss the pros and cons of the different video types through both our personal experiences with everybody hanging out here, and really maybe some tips on how to push creative limits. So with that, I'd love to introduce everyone. So guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey everyone, this is Vincenzo Landino, at Vincenzo Landino, host of MCO Talk and digital strategist at BroadSuite. I am really enjoying this video conversation. I'm psyched to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Video is exciting to talk about, and I'm so happy I finally get to talk about Meerkat on a panel like this, so this is going to be cool. Thanks, guys.
Hey everyone, I'm Sherry Rhodey, and I co-produce CMGR Hangout here with Brew and Dom, as well as lead community and user experience at Rebellion Media.
Is that it? Okay. Hi guys, Marissa Ferraccio here. I'm the digital marketer at Zoomf. I'm really excited to talk about video, Meerkat, Periscope, and some of the other platforms that we've been using to see what type of real-time engagement you can get with video marketing and how you kind of manage that. So thanks for having me.
Hi everyone, this is Lori Guerreri, and I am the former community manager of Movi as of this week, which is a video messaging application. And even though I'm not there, I still am passionate about video. I love all things video. I built that community with video, so I think I'll have a lot to add here. But I do want to say I may be the only person here that's not on Meerkat, so I might have to get on that now that I'm no longer at Movi.
Well, Lori, I think the question isn't really you're not on Meerkat, since I can guarantee that the people on this panel are probably Meerkatting this right now, as I am as well. So you're on it in spirit and being streamed, not as a viewer yet. But Brian Fanzo, known as iSocial Fans, Chief Digital Strategist, Change Evangelist is what I prefer to be called. But always happy to be here. Love talking everything, anything video. I think the power of storytelling when it comes to social media is about going above and beyond 140 characters, and that includes leveraging things like this chat, which I've been a huge fan of since long before I started a business that actually sponsors and builds Twitter chats. So I'm excited to be here, as I think this is one of the best of the best, and it kind of inspired a lot of the stuff that I do. So big shout out to Sherry and Brew and of course Dom now on what you guys do, because it's inspiring the work that I do every week.
Hey everybody, thanks for that, Brian. My name is Dom. I am a co-producer here with Sherry and Brew. I am a community manager for Be the Change Revolutions, as well as I'm kind of fangirling out because I have giant crushes on both Brian Fanzo and Vincenzo Landino, and they're both on the panel today, so I consider myself the luckiest man in the world.
The fact you said that with a straight face is just amazing. I love you too, Dom.
I've been practicing in the mirror ever since I found out about the panel. So
awesome. All right. Well, hey everybody. I am Brew, director of Awesome with Be the Change Revolutions, as well as co-producer here with Dom and Sherry for my community manager. So let's just start things out. I think talked a little bit about Meerkat, but like Brian, what are some of the video platforms you've been experimenting with lately?
Now, for me, I think video just as a whole, the idea of how do I get video to a bigger audience, and I'm actually was able to sit and watch Sexy Savvy Social, which Amy, who has an awesome YouTube video channel, and I've always kind of been, I would say, overwhelmed or maybe scared of the YouTube channel as a whole, because I always looked at YouTube as like a giant animal. It's the second largest search engine in the world. I mean, it is the polished premier. It's something that's been around. I think we might even want to call it old school mentality. So for me, I've done the video blogs where I stream them onto YouTube, but my real niche has been try to find what I would consider real video, authentic video that doesn't have to be post-produced. It's done in real time with what you're doing. So I've experimented everything from Ustream to using Google Hangouts to actually to send it to Ustream as well. Huge fan of Twitter video. Twitter rolled that out about a month and a half ago, being able to put 30-second videos inside of your tweets, which I've been using to actually personalize my thank yous and personalize a little bit of my community engagement aspect of it. It's so easy to do. It's just really raw and real. I've loved Instagram video. I think Vine felt like a flash in the pan for me, because here's something that I think, and this will be interesting, and I'll kind of end it here on this spot. I don't want to be a video superstar, but I want to use video as a way of telling my story. So for me, I felt like Vine and YouTube, you kind of have Vine stars and YouTube stars, but do you have people using those platforms to convey their message that isn't their only day job is being a producer on one of those platforms? And that's kind of how I look for the technology that plays the other game. How can we use video to better tell the brand story, a person's story? So for me, that's kind of where I'm playing. Of course, Meerkat I've kind of fell in love with on March 2nd, and then Periscope came out while I was at Social Media Marketing World. Both have had a major game-changing aspect for me. I'm actually speaking on 3 different panels, 1 keynote and 2 panels, and next month only on Meerkat and Periscope. And I like to think I spent 2 years working on speaking, and I spent 3 weeks on that platform, and now people want me to talk on it. So it has an interesting niche. But I love to hear what the rest of the panel kind of thinks on the non-video superstar element of some of these platforms, because I think that's kind of the intimidation factor for me.
Yeah, Brian, there's definitely, I guess I'll just pigtail off that, answer a little bit of the question, but I'm using Meerkat, obviously, being Meerkat right now. And I've been playing with it since March 2nd as well. It's one of those tools where I have no problem being on the camera, but I've always been afraid of YouTube. It scares the crap out of me because it's edited video and it's kind of freaks me out. And we were talking to Savvy Sexy Social on Wednesday, and she's a pro at it, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. But Meerkat has given me the ability to be live. It's a lot faster than having to go back and edit a video. And like Brian said, it's not a superstar mentality. Anybody can do it. So I feel like, hey, here it is. I can show my personality on here. I love being able to do it. And I will continue Meerkatting or whatever, Periscoping or whatever other tool comes out. It's not about the tool and which one's better. It's just about live streaming, and I'm all about the live stream right now.
I'm with you guys. I know that we're going to get into this, but the live streaming and also just that non-polished video aspect, like vlogging, things on the go, things like that, that's where the true value of video comes in, because that's where it's the raw, real, human video that people can relate to. So that's my favorite type of video as well. And there's definitely benefits in polished video and editing and spending the time there, but it takes time. And I think there's more value in something that's not as polished.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I just want to quick pull in. David Pepper asks us, will live video on Periscope, Meerkat, etc. replace produced, edited video? So do you think it'll ever replace it?
Nah, no, I don't personally. I don't think it can replace. It's two different. It's 2 completely different platforms. Live video serves a certain purpose, and edited video serves a specific purpose. That's like saying that Meerkat's going to replace, broadcast television, or Periscope will replace broadcast television. There's no way. But on the other hand, you still have people that are more interested in, we have our mobile phones on us all the time, so there's an aspect of it that says, yeah, you know what, Meerkat might be, or live streaming video may be something where a lot of people have access to at any given point. But no, I don't see it going away. I don't see scheduled video ever going away.
The one thing that I think of when it comes to this, and I made like this joke graphic, when Periscope came out, because everybody was like, "Is this going to replace Meerkat?" Like we have this like culture of like what's happening right now is the best thing that's happening, and it's going to replace everything else. That's not really the way that it is. Like, you're not going to get something that's going to replace Facebook. You're not going to get something that's going to replace Twitter. You're not going to get something that's going to replace TV. If anything, what it's going to do, you notice there's a culture of supplementation, and that's really what it is. It's just going to add on to that. You have a live Sports Center broadcast. It's awesome. Well, you have a Periscope or a Meerkat that's actually showing you behind the scenes that's going on to give you that different camera angle. That's what I think is really what's going to happen. It's just going to be a supplement to it.
And I'm approaching this a little bit from the standpoint of a video strategy as a whole now has different avenues, much like a social media strategy, where you have to have a unique Facebook strategy, you have to have a unique Twitter strategy, you have to have a unique LinkedIn one. Live streaming now gives you another option in your arsenal, but in no way, shape, or form is it something that I want playing in my company's lobby whenever new employees come or new customers come. I don't want Meerkat playing there. What I want there is a polished video that tells our story in well-produced manner. But what I do want my Meerkat to be able to show me is when we want to talk about our company culture, and you have Food Truck Friday. Why not have your employees out there streaming Food Truck Friday, showing your culture, rather than a polished fake video of people sitting at their desk and, yes, I love my company. Like, there's an element there where let's get off the idea of thinking it's going to replace something and thinking about what strategy can leverage this, because I think it goes across all. I mean, I was a big fan. I love Movi and what Lori was doing there, because I think there's also a need for video one-to-one communication. There's also a private element. I mean, the fact that I don't think Cyberdust competes with Snapchat, and I don't think Meerkat replaces Snapchat, these are all different paths. I think we just need to reframe what that means. And for me, there's an element of, hey, how can it's noisy, it's polluted. How can we tell our story in new ways to reach new audience, but ultimately provide ultimate value? And if it's a polished video, it's going to provide some sort of value. If it's the live stream, authentic, real, you're going to watch Vincenzo eat pizza while he's singing type of video, then that's going to be possible as well. But I think we just kind of have to reframe that conversation. And I don't blame people for doing that, because this app is truly the fear of missing out app. But I ask you this: if streaming was going to replace anything, it would have happened long ago when Ustream and Livestream were out there. What this is that's different is it's mobile, one-click broadcasting. There is nothing like it. There's never been an app like it. There is one click. It's very I'd say user easy, or almost user scary, because you just press a button, all of a sudden the whole world can see your stream, and that's what it does differently than some of these other platforms.
I think it's crazy what people are using it for. I like one of the fun things I like to do to just kill some brain cells is go look at the Periscope hashtag on Twitter and just creep on random strangers I'm like their only viewer, and they're sitting on their porch drinking beer, talking to themselves. So it's kind of interesting because it's bringing video to a whole new set of users, right? Where before I think it wasn't. Your average person wasn't able to gain access to do this sort of stuff, and it'll be interesting to see kind of people becoming new celebrities or what'll happen.
Today we learned that instead of Brew hanging out with his kids in his free time, he creeps on strangers on the internet.
No, that's not what I learned.
Dom, we already knew that.
Now I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I virtually went on someone's dog walk yesterday. That was kind of cool. So what do we got for our next question here? Question number 2 is creative opportunities. So what kind of creative opportunities has video provided you guys? Let's talk about getting creative.
I want to jump in here real quick. And just because Movi, like you were saying, Brian, has that back and forth element, I think it really allowed us to create creative niche communities. So we saw a lot of people that were interested in tech, and they were doing unboxings and showing the latest, mobile device. A lot of street art, a lot of art, marketing, business tips, personal branding. So what's nice about video is you get on video, and it creates a bond, I think, faster than text. And so these people knew that, hey, this is a nice community for me. I feel comfortable here. It's a collaborative environment. So it was nice, and that's the biggest benefit of video. It's just you have the ultimate reign of all the creativity in the world. So it just really depends on what you want to use it for. But that was big for us, creating these niche communities. And then their videos were the content that we shared. So those stories became user-generated content. It was awesome.
No, I think that's actually a great way of kind of discussing it, because I think it's also, to your point, bro, there's so many people using it different ways. That's almost the most exciting aspect for me is, hey, now you have a new way to be creative. The reason I love the 30-second Twitter videos and the reason I was a big fan of Instagram and Vine is they took the mentality of what Twitter had. I mean, Twitter could have easily changed their character space to 480 and been just like Facebook or, been closer to Google+. But there's an element there where it takes creativity to actually convey a message in a story in 140 characters. And there's also an element there where you're finding new ways to tell stories, but you're also finding new ways that you're comfortable telling your story. I talk about this a lot. I work with executives on personal branding, and getting them to blog is like they literally look at you like you have, like, why would I blog? I don't have the time for that. But yet they'll rant for an hour and a half about some topic. So what I started doing was I would just video record every one of my executives that I would coach, and I would take it to my team and we'd write a blog about it. Well, now I don't even have to do that. Now I can take that video and put it in the audience, embed the video on a LinkedIn publisher page, and then I can take different snippets of it. So I think now it's about, hey, there's no excuse today to not tell your story. The key is finding what you're best at, or finding new ways to be creative. Because, the same people have heard my same spiels every freaking time on my Twitter feed. But when I jumped on Meerkat, I would say I'd probably had 60% of people that were watching me on Meerkat had never heard of me on Twitter. That was a brand new audience that I was able to convey a message and learn from. And I think that's something that we kind of have to think about this, in the long run, is how are we learning from these new technologies that allows us to provide better content? Because the creativity part is freaking awesome. Because some people are great. Other people just stick it in front of their face and, and I would say have it live streaming while they're doing their work, and that'll get old, and people will start tuning out for that whenever the FOMO wears off.
When you want to talk about reaching a new audience, like I think of Vincenzo, like jumping on, and the just comparative, if you want to talk about size-wise, the type of people that follow him on Meerkat, that audience compared to what follows him on Twitter, like it's like what are the numbers there, Enzo?
I actually just looked at it yesterday because I kept telling people 13,000 followers on Meerkat compared to my like 3,200 on Twitter, and I was totally wrong. I have like 34,000 followers on Meerkat, which is mind-boggling because I only had about 5 when they pulled the social graph. So the rest of that growth has been completely organic through Meerkat. And I kind of had a little, I stopped a little bit because I got really busy. I mean, who doesn't get busy? So I stopped Meerkatting as regularly. But I noticed as soon as I started jumping on again, I have people in my stream. I have it running right now. Like, well, there's only like 10 or so in here now. But the creativity that I think going back to what Brian was saying, but you too, Dom, where you have a lot more opportunity, or you have a lot more opportunity in live video to reach an audience, and with the interaction that you get, you have conversations. It's something that's totally different. It's like Twitter on steroids, but you can see me, and I think that's the coolest factor of the live video.
Yeah, but Vincenzo, don't forget, that live opportunity is also one more way for you to fail on your face if you're fake and not real or authentic. And that scares the crap out of that's... No, I mean, I think that's something to remember. I mean, the opportunity to storytell, think on your feet, provide your real, authentic self. Video, it is very hard to be fake, especially on live video, continually. And I think that aspect scares people because, like you said, it gave you an opportunity to go beyond 140 characters. Some people, the 140 characters allows them to be someone they're not. And I think that's the game changer here, is that being who you're not is no longer going to make success, and you're going to have to learn to either be yourself. And I've been saying it forever now, if you suck offline, you are going to suck online, and you are sure as hell going to suck on live video.
I just talked to somebody about that, Brian, and it's funny because I had a conversation about one of these Meerkatters that does, it's pure entertainment value, and I made a comment to somebody that we were talking about, and I said, well, is that person the exact same as they are? Oh no, like this person's really good. I'm not going to say it's a he or she, but they're really, really cool. I talked to them off of the Meerkat, and I thought to myself, so you're being two different people. You're completely fake in your Meerkats, and it's going to go away, like you said, Brian. So the authenticity factor of live video, it's helped me because I haven't changed. I know that Brian, same thing. We see you. Dom's been on it. And Dom is the same person he is, goofy Dom, walking his dog, making sandwiches, and and he has legitimate content too. But it's funny because you get a point of view of Dom's life that you may not get in Twitter, and he may not want to necessarily be tweeting about. It's different. So the live video allows you to have that spin. And then when you jump back onto Twitter, people know a little bit about you. So when I did my karaoke session for 7 hours, people are still talking about it, and people see my personality now, so they understand how I'm talking online. They get a little bit more of a better vibe of me. So that's great point, Brian. Thank you.
I kind of have a question that came in. I'm gonna just quick pop it on the screen here. Kira asks, any insights on promotional strategy to get people on your Meerkat streams, and more importantly to me for Hangouts? One of the, and I also kind of wanted to ask another question that's similar to that, just for to get your feedback, guys. But is it valuable? I think when we think about something like Twitter, right? We talk about how many followers somebody has, or even some of these video platforms, you're amassing followers. But live video is all about who's tuning in at that exact moment, right? So you literally can look down and say, well, there are 10 people viewing me, or there are 20 people, or there are 2. So number one is there still value in those smaller numbers of people viewing your streams? And then to answer Kira's question is, how do you get more viewers?
So yeah. You want me to jump in? You go ahead, Vincenzo.
I was gonna say there's absolute value. I mean, there's 10 people. It's fluctuating right now between 9, 10. I had 20. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have conversations with 10 people at the same time at any given point of my day, except on Meerkat. On my drive homes and my drive into work, my Meerkats are usually, pretty full. There's like 30, 40 people. I will never talk to 30, 40 people on a normal day. So yes, you're putting me in front of a group of, an audience that I don't normally have access to, number one. How do you grow that? I mean, the scheduling feature on Meerkat is fantastic. Promoting it and being consistent is another thing. Yes, the live video allows you to be a little more spontaneous, but I think you still need to have a little bit of a, some sort of schedule. Like, hey, I'm on. So for me, it's every morning I do something, and at night on my drive home. And people actually, apparently, they look forward to it, because when I don't do it, they're, where are you? Where did you go? Are you not around today? And it's like, sorry, I had a phone call, or sorry, I wanted to just a peaceful drive home today. So.
That's something that Amy touched on in MCO Talk, Savvy Sexy Social. She was like, the worst part about video is the fact that people start to expect so much from you, and you have to be consistent because people are looking for that same time, same week that you come on. You've got to show up because people will stalk you out.
Well, I think part of that. Go ahead, Marissa. Go ahead. I jumped in on you. I saw you back in. Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm struggling over here. One example I was going to jump on was something that we do with the consistency, like you were saying, Lori. We have found that consistency is key. One thing that we do is when we are announcing a new feature, we have something that we want to educate the audience on. We do a kind of a twofold approach where we do a Google Hangout, and then we'll live stream it from Meerkat. And it's funny because we actually get more engagement on Meerkat because it is a live stream, and we're getting so many people engaging with us versus the scheduled Hangout, which is interesting. And so the consistency factor is one thing that we have to maintain, because if we tell everyone every Friday, once a month, we're going to have this Hangout and you're going to learn and we'll have a chance to ask us questions in real time, they become to expect that. And if they expect that, you kind of have to perform. So I think that consistency is very important.
And I guess I'll jump in on the idea. I agree on the consistency, but I'll kind of play the other way. We all get 24 hours. So for me, I want to make the most of that 24 hours. So the reason I've been using Meerkat a lot more than I've been using Periscope is it's pretty simple. I can take my Meerkat videos and use another tool called Catch that allows me to stream them to YouTube. I made a landing page on my website for every one of my videos that I capture. Therefore, they have a little bit more of an evergreen feel. And everybody who comments on my Twitter account or on my Meerkat, it gets posted to Twitter. Well, I built a Twitter list out for every one of those people. Then I took that Twitter list and I put it in one of my tools and said, why have I not been able to reach all of these people before? Why did they first find me on Meerkat? What am I doing wrong on Twitter? So for me, this is about community building. It's about leveraging that data, and honestly, it's about finding ways to like really connect with new audiences and bring them back to my home. So like if your company is about your email list, and maybe Meerkat isn't the right way that you think it is, but let's think about it this way. If you can build a relationship, connect them to Twitter, which might be your primary engagement solution, engage with them, share a piece of content that they might like that has a landing page, you've now segued somebody from a live video source onto your connected stream to see all of your content, and now they're into your email database. So for me, it sounds kind of harsh because it sounds like I have a strategy for being nice, but really what I have is a strategy for getting the most out of my time. And I think that's what we have to think about with this, because, I mean, I love Periscope. The UI is beautiful. They're doing lots of great things, but I'm missing two of those major aspects for me that I can't spend time just having it up there because I want to talk to the audience. I like to talk all the time as it is. I want to take that and segue it into something much more. And the amount of things I've learned with 45 days of Meerkat data will blow your mind, because I'm going to have a case study out soon on it, and it will actually shock you on the amount of things that I've learned about. I thought my audience, I could connect with a lot of people. Holy crap, was I missing a lot of hashtags and a lot of focused audience, because they never knew who I was on Twitter until they found me on Meerkat, and I think that's kind of the game changer.
I love that, Brian, and I love that idea that you know, like what you've said, and just to sort of parrot that point, that you know, one of the things with video is that it's great to be able to capture those people, but the thing that you have to realize with this is that, you know, we're hearing these things cross platforms. Make sure that you're finding out what's going on, trending with the hashtags, actually connecting with people, focusing on that. This isn't that different from other things that we do in social. This isn't that different from other things you do in your community. It's just that extra tool that has the ability to help you do that. So I love it. Love it. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah, Dom and Brian, I've met virtually so many people through live streaming Meerkat that I never spoke to before on Twitter, and I thought I was, you know, it's a completely new audience, and now I'm talking to them just as much as I am to my Twitter friends like Dom, like Brian, that I talk to every day. But these are brand new people, brand new segment that I never connected to at all, and now it's a daily connection, and it's fantastic. Dom kind of looks like you. Sorry.
I think somebody maybe I missed this because I was looking on Twitter, and maybe you guys just talked about this, but David Pepper over on Twitter actually asked. He thought that Periscope also is something that could be uploaded to YouTube, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I just was typing that up. So you can Periscope, you can save the video to your camera roll, and then it's automatically saved to the Periscope server for 24 hours. But there isn't a direct link upload to your YouTube stream, and there isn't one in Meerkat either. Another company called Scene, S-E-E-N, they created an app called Catch, K-A-T-C-H, and if you use that hashtag in your stream or after your stream, it actually does that for you. So it automatically puts it into an unlisted YouTube video, and then I have a if this then that statement that actually takes that video and posts it to my playlist, which is then auto shared onto my landing page. So, and trust me, Periscope's one thing you have to remember, Periscope is listening to everything we're saying about the advantages of these tools. That'll be in the future release. I mean, I think part of this is you want to have the ability to live stream it and not have it live anywhere, because what happens on the internet stays on the internet. but there's also an element there of I do want to be able to create this into evergreen content. I mean, Jay Bear is using Periscope to record all of his Jay Today videos. So he does it on Periscope, so you can tune in live. Then it downloads to the camera roll. He then takes that camera roll, sends it over to his podcasting team, and they turn that audio into a podcast. I mean, that's the kind of things that we have to think about using these kind of platforms for. And then he gets live audience, he gets evergreen content, he gets the audio audience. I mean, that's truly the upcycling of one piece of great content.
Brian, I'm going to jump in because what you just said was exactly what I was thinking about the evergreen and about repurposing your content. I heard it's funny, I was listening to a podcast the other day and I heard them talking about thinking of it as like you at Thanksgiving you have a turkey and you're slicing up different pieces of the turkey, and that is like the video concept where you're using you're creating this interaction, this educational piece, and you're using it on YouTube, you're using it in your blog, you're slicing and dicing it up into little different pieces and repurposing it, and it provides your content team and your marketing team with so much educational value because your audience just isn't going to be on Meerkat. They're not just going to be on Google+, they're not just going to be on Twitter, they're going to be on all different platforms, right? So if you use those different platforms accordingly with this type of content, you're going to reach a stronger audience in a much quicker fashion than if you just stick with YouTube or you're just on Google+.
Cross-pollination. I freaking love it.
I love it too, and I was just saying in the chat to Jade that this is why you cannot be afraid to try new platforms. And some people say, you know, don't try, don't even waste your time, it's just a fad. I don't believe in that. I think go for it, try it out, see if it works, see what sticks. And even if it doesn't, there's a ton of value in that too. And the other big thing, I like what you guys were saying, Marissa, about the repurposing. First of all, video gives you also an immense amount of SEO value, constant clicks, and then also that ability to repurpose. You get transcripts, you get screenshots. So there's a lot of good that can come from it that can last you a long time. Oh, we have somebody new here.
And I think that's kind of the essence of the culture we're living in now. I call it fear of missing out, and I embrace it because I love it. But there's also this element of failing fast. If you're willing to fail fast, you can try out all these things. I mean, everything I've done on Meerkat, I'm just winging it from the standpoint of, let's see if this works. Let's see if Vincenzo and I sitting on YouTube and Meerkat for 2.5 hours one night till like 2 a.m., let's see if people actually gravitate to that content. You know, and for me, it's like, okay, well, that worked, Dom, or that worked, Vincenzo. What can we do now? So then we're going to segue that into, okay, maybe that's a podcast. Maybe that's a, so I think, you know, failing fast, it's going to be a chapter in my book. It is a chapter in my book. I love that concept. I love that. Whoa, sorry about that.
You know what? I wanted to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of vlogging. I think that's kind of where we were supposed to go. But Lori brought up a really good point. You know, video blogging, it's so key, it's so critical, and Savvy Sexy Social, Amy Schmitzhauer made a good point on my show the other night, or earlier this week, where the SEO of video, it helps so much in showing up. I mean, let's face it, YouTube, Google, you know, they're together, and it helps you rise to the top. Video is packed with content that you can't ever get, you know, on text. So I think video is that's the pro. I don't see much cons unless, of course, like you said, Brian, you're just bad at it. I think if you have a strategy, you can't be bad at it. If you suck, you suck. But I think if you have a strategy in place, you can't be bad. So it can't be.
But that also involves some like, sorry. That also involves some like A/B testing too, because you may think you have a strategy out and you may think it's going to work, and if it doesn't, like you know, if you fail, you have to pick yourself back up and try again, because something you think may work may not exactly resonate properly with your audience. So, you know, we definitely embrace the whole like, you know, try something first, ask forgiveness later approach, where if we try something and if it doesn't work or we don't get the type of response that we want, we'll, you know, re-strategize and try something again and see what type of response we get with that second attempt.
All right, guys, so since we're doing a live stream here, we don't really have a commercial break, but I did want to take a second and say hi to Neil and let him say hi and introduce himself since he joined us a little bit late. Hey, Neil. No. Maybe he's all right, well, we'll come back to that. He's frozen. Yeah, I think he's frozen. So, all right, we'll go back to vlogging. So we are on question number 3. I'm gonna volt us over vlogging and talk about the pros and cons of polished video. You know, it's interesting because one of the things that I was thinking about early on in our discussions was the fact that with polished video, one of the advantages is that you can take someone who's maybe not a great talker or maybe not great you know, communicator, but still has a lot of knowledge, and be able to pull some good pieces of wisdom out of those people in an interview type format, edit it through, and still provide value. So I think there's still some value in editing, especially because you can usually take someone's rambling, you know, of 10 minutes and compress it down to bite-sized chunks if you do editing. But I mean, what are some of the other pros and cons you guys think about of polished video?
I'm going to give you an example, something that we're trying to do on like a consistent basis that I really want to do is pro tip videos, and it's a very polished approach. It started out as this 30-second iPhone clip, you know, get it up on Facebook, try out the new Facebook platform, see how it goes, put it on YouTube, see what's working, and it's turned into this really intensive type of process where, you know, we start on Wednesday, we film, we edit, we re-edit, you know, we look at everyone and have them check it out, and then we post it on Thursday, and sometimes it, you know, it's posted later than we want. But one thing that we've found is we've kept with that strategy where people know that these pro tip videos are about the educational factor. It's not the behind-the-scenes cultural feel that you get with Meerkat, you know, with the real-time streaming. It's more about that consistency of giving our audience what they're asking for and making sure there's value to it. But it is a process. It's not something you can do quickly. It takes several hours to have a perfect polished video put together. So you have to kind of figure out if your strategy has time for that. Do you have time, and do you have the resources to allocate to have that perfect professional video? And if not, that's okay, but it can't be one or the other, I don't think. I think you have to, if you're going to do a professionally edited video, you know, keep with it and try it out. One thing that we have noticed, at least from my experience, like the Facebook video platform has been incredibly powerful on our end. I mean, we have gotten engagement out of the wazoo. I want to say better than YouTube, to be honest. And it's really been a great platform that we can embrace and really reach out to our audience from an organic perspective versus, you know, a paid ad.
Well, yeah, you know, I think one of those things that you actually brought up that I think is really important, and I actually talk about this, and I'll relate it to data. I'm a data geek. I am far from a data scientist. And I am a video storyteller, and I am far from a polished video editor, manager, you know, polished producer. I think you have to respect the craft as well, because it is truly talent to understand the, you know, anybody who's done a lot of video. I've been doing a lot of, you know, polished video for other projects that I'm working on. The lighting, the sound, there's so many variables, and that is pure talent. And what happened for me was all of those things were variables that added the barrier to entry extra hard. So for me, I was either going to invest in their talent, or I was going to embrace the real authentic, where you get my random whiteboard, lighting is not right, you're going to get a little bit of, you know, editing, but they're two different paths. And I think unfortunately people look at like someone that's great at streaming and think, wow, they're great at video, and you're like, no, it's two different worlds. I think we have to respect both crafts, and it's I liked your point on really understanding it, embracing it, because just because you're great on live stream doesn't mean a polished, well chopped up video you're going to be great on YouTube. Those two things do not segue across, you know, in any shape or form.
Just to sort of add one more point when it comes to what's the benefits of polished video, I think that for people that are not video itself, like we're talking about these streams, and you know, Enzo, it's incredible that you have as many people that would stay on a 7-hour karaoke stream. You know, that's a huge time commitment. The fact that we have, you know, 40, 50 people that actually watch this every week as it's happening for an hour is a huge time commitment. Most people don't have that much time to give. So the polished video, I think, you know, you have an opportunity to really be able to tell a great story in 15 seconds, in 30 seconds, on somebody's phone while they're on their commute, to be able to get them to do the next thing. Like all of us, we ingest so much of this that 15 minutes isn't a big deal for us. You know, you can watch a 5-minute video. That's not a big deal. But for most people, they don't do that, or they're not in the habit of doing it. So having something that's clean and polished, that is going to be more appealing to people so that they will actually hear your message, as opposed to, you know, me on Meerkat fumbling through the first 2 minutes because I can't get my phone to sit right on my counter as I'm being goofy Dom and making my sandwich.
Yeah, and with the videos that are polished, clean cut, they're high quality, they're beautiful, but as Brian said, it takes talent. It takes real talent to get the lighting and the audio and everything down. But when you do make videos like that, they are around for a very long time. So with live streaming and vlogging and everything, people have to make that commitment to be there in the moment, sit down for the hour, for the 7 hours. But with, you know, polished content, you can get that out to a larger audience across different time frames, different than you can do with a live stream.
All right, guys, I'm going to bring in and quick hit some stuff that's coming in on Twitter. First of all, I want to let everybody know, Carrie, who normally hangs out with us over on Twitter and manages the stream there with Sarah, she's actually in Ireland, so she says hi to us and gave us a picture. This is what Ireland looks like. They have cars and electricity, it looks like, so that's cool. Next is Sarah. Sarah asks, what are some tips to jumpstart social video marketing? So how about one tip? Anyone got a real passionate tip for Sarah?
Don't be afraid and start.
Yep, just do it. You have to just get on it. Don't worry about your hair or whatever it looks like. Just do it.
I'd say look at some brands that you admire and see what they're doing and get inspired. And once you're inspired, don't be afraid.
And I would say if you're providing something that helps, nobody says you're helping them too much. So if you tell your story in a way that helps somebody, you can't really go wrong.
And I'm going to say that I'm going to stick to the authenticity factor. Just be you. Don't try to be somebody else. And don't think that nobody wants to see you, because I didn't think anyone wanted to actually watch me sing on video, and there was a lot of people that did and still do. So be yourself.
I still question those people for wanting to hear you sing on video, but that's a whole nother story.
What about so here Michael's asked, how do these live streaming video platforms add value to communities, and how do managers use them? Somebody take that question.
I think it's pretty easy. Think like a community manager, or my philosophy is think like a fan. What would your fans love to see behind the scenes? What would they love to see as part of your community? Give them an inside look like a fan would love to see. It not only brings authenticity, but it adds to the exclusivity of a community. And I know Tim McDonald, someone that is mentored and someone I look up to all the time, reminds people that you do have to give people kind of that motivation and that hey, this is something great that we're doing. So if you think like a fan when you're creating any type of video, it doesn't matter if it's Meerkat or it's YouTube, and you provide. I mean, my favorite story is PGA Tour handed their video, their Instagram account to all of their people that worked for them, and they were behind the lines. Tiger Woods is tying his shoes on the driving range that was exclusive. No fan was allowed to go over there, and they were doing video of Tiger doing that. For me, they won a fan for life of their Instagram account because I got access that I could never have done before. Don't think just like the regular video. Think of something that is exclusive, that is kind of cool, that is behind the scenes, and it'll be a home run. I think that's a unique way to kind of bring that to it.
All right, another rapid-fire question from Twitter here. If you were to try to get into vlogging, Nicole asks, who would you turn to for advice before you publish? I would turn to iJustine. She vlogs a lot, and she's pretty cool. But do you guys have any advice? Are there resources out there for Nicole?
I would look to Sean Duras on Snapchat. I think he is doing an incredible job with real-time marketing and how you can embrace the whole real-time concept of live streaming and brand advocates and influencers on Snapchat. So I would look to him. I think it's at Sean Duras on Snapchat. He's inspiring me and teaching me more about Snapchat every single day.
Yeah, and I would say two people, Savvy Sexy Social, we talked about it before. Amy, she presented at Social Media Marketing Well, in my opinion, one of the best presentations of all of the people there. And she actually has a training course on videos and monetizing and creating a really good video YouTube channel. And then another one is Nick Cicero, who's in that same space as what Marissa was talking about. Nick is working with Vine, Instagram, Snapchat influencers on how they create great content. He did one with the NBA All-Star, and I thought it was awesome, and it could be segued to any other of those platforms. So I mean, I think those are all great resources. I think part of it is find the people that are doing great things on YouTube and put in the comments, because there's something great about the YouTube community is they help each other and they pass things around very much like I like to think of like the Twitter chat community. So I would definitely ask some of your favorite YouTubers.
Can we give Chris McCullen a shout out here, because he is the man and he is absolutely killing it on Snapchat with an audience that I don't think any of us would be able to master. I mean, these are like 10, 11-year-old kids. What do you say, like, if they send him a message like, hey, what's this new trick or something, and if he doesn't answer them in 5 minutes, they're like, yo, man, where you at? So he is constantly engaging with his people. He knows exactly how to reach them and how to share videos that are appropriate for them. So he's a good guy, too. He deserves a shout-out there.
Awesome. So Mike, or Mick, Mick or Mike, v. Adam, thanks for hanging out with us, and sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but has actually two questions. The first is, how are you going to make sure Livestream sticks to company design and image? And then also asks, how would you convince your CEO to be on Livestream video, no retakes? So I kind of get the sense, these are very like kind of corporate questions, right? For a brand that is scared about, well, geez, what will it do to our brand image? Will we have the right logo? Boy, will my CEO look bad on live video? What's your advice, guys?
I think. Go ahead, Marissa.
Brian. No, you go first.
I was going to say, I think control is a optimal illusion. You don't have control of anything no matter what you're talking about there. So I think it comes down to a little bit of trust, and it also comes down to set up guidelines. You can't have people doing live streaming or videoing in certain areas of your business. Set that precedent up front, and then you have to trust them. And if a CEO, there's nobody better in the company to tell the value, the passion, and the purpose of your company than the CEO. And if they're not willing to do it, I question what that vision and that purpose of that company is. So I kind of flip the script back on, and find a way that they're comfortable. If they like doing it in their PJs, they like doing it outside the company. Maybe they like doing it in a studio so that no one can walk by and they don't feel vulnerable. But I mean, I think part of it is you have to embrace it, because it's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, definitely with Brian's point. Control, like you said, you can't always control everything, and that trust is going to be so uber important when you're doing these type of live streaming. One thing that we're really lucky with is our CEO, and with Zoom, like everything that we do is about real time. So the great thing about live streaming is it is real time. So when you present those, when you present that to your executives or to your CEO or to your supervisor, and you talk about the benefits behind it and showing some power in the numbers, whatever metrics you can find, I think that opportunity to be real time will give them some support, and they'll feel better about it, because it is nerve-wracking, obviously. But if you can present to them the power of real time streaming and use cases and show examples, and you have that trust built and get them to be involved, you're absolutely right, Brian. Like, your CEO knows the vision of the company probably better than anybody else, and if they are willing to present that in real time, like, that makes your CEO really, really cool, right? Like, your fans, your customers, your clients, they're going to look to him and be like, that's a really awesome dude that's doing this real time, and it gives that cultural feel that you want people to have and to recognize that brand personality when you are live streaming.
Does anyone have a favorite example of a CEO who does that? A CEO who jumps on live streaming or goes on YouTube and you think is like doing really good things with video?
So I'll give you one that's not traditional that might surprise you, but the senior VP over at Avnet, which is a cloud solutions company, Tim Fitzgerald, he does twice a week he does Talk with Tim, or he does Cloud Talk, and he does like 4 or 5 minutes where he just has a YouTube video that's posted up there. And then of course, I mean, I think the easy answer is always Gary Vaynerchuk, but I don't think we all have that luxury. But you know, Gary V does Twitter video better than anyone I've seen. You know, he does that 30 seconds. He's riding in a cab. He replies to 5 people on Twitter with a Twitter video, and I think that's kind of a unique way. And I'll also give a shout out to Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban does it only on Cyberdust, but I've got messages and videos from Mark through the Cyberdust app of him actually just saying, you know, thanks for giving a kind of a shout out on that app. So I think those are ones that come to mind for me. But it's actually a great question, because I think there isn't enough that are doing it, and maybe the ones that are, we need to celebrate a little bit more.
Sure. Thanks for mentioning those. Maybe in the future we'll see more. I mean, you mentioned before about making sure the CEO is comfortable with the sort of the surrounding they're in when they're doing that kind of thing. Maybe in the future we'll see people actually setting up. I mean, now live streaming is really taking off. Maybe we'll see companies actually setting up dedicated spaces, even if it's just like a small booth where they've got their company, like a banner or a logo up in the background, just so it's easy to do quick fire videos. Just it's like 20, 30 seconds. Just, hi everyone, here's what we've been up to. Maybe we'll see more of that in the future.
Well, I know when Meerkat first came out, you know, our CSO Amir is, you know, social media guru in every aspect, and he was so excited about this live streaming, this real time, and our CEO came and we put him on camera for the time. We had a Nurph that was watching our Twitter feed, was able to watch our CEO and our CSO having a Nurph gun battle live on Meerkat. And it was like, oh my God, like look at these, you know, these hard workers, and they're having a good time on Meerkat, and they're showing that culture. Like, I agree with you. Like, if you can find CEOs that are willing to do this and embrace it and get them comfortable with it, you'll be able to give them a high five and really kind of appreciate their willingness to do real-time video.
All right, guys, I'm going to go off script here since we have 3 questions left and only 7 minutes. And let's just wrap things up with kind of where you see the future of this video going, and then specifically kind of how you can harness it to build community. I think we've touched on and off of that, but kind of we'll leave everybody with some good nuggets. So predict.
Hi, sorry, I forgot to introduce myself before. My name's Neil. I'm from Nurph. One thing would be great to see is people like doing just shorter clips of video, just making it really easy for like CEOs or anyone in the company to saying, we can make it easy. You don't have to think about necessarily doing an hour chat up front. Let's set a really easy format for you to get into trying this. Maybe we'll just do our first 15, 20-second video, and that could even just be a video out to the community, the customers and stakeholders, to say, what would you be interested in seeing us do on video? And that could even be your first step. So companies making it easy to package up their video and to get started, to get the ball rolling. That would be great to see. Yeah.
What about
anyone else? Yeah.
What else? Anybody else?
I mean, for the future of video, I think we've only just begun, and I think that it's really going to. You're going to see a lot more companies, I think, going behind the scenes and showing the inner workings. You know, I'll go back to this whole millennial mindset, but we're interested in culture and showing off the culture of our companies and being proud of where you work. VaynerMedia does a great job of doing that on Snapchat. I don't know if you guys see them on Snapchat, but they go back and they kind of pass the Snapchat account to someone different every day, and they show off the culture, and it's like, wow, this is genuinely a fun place to work. I want to work with them, or I want to work there, and I think that's where video is going to go. It's not necessarily always broadcast out, but also internally to your employees, potential talent and whatnot. How do you? What was the second part of your question? You had asked about your community. I mean, I think engagement is the biggest thing. So I've personally focused on video, engaging every single person that takes the time to watch, like Brian said earlier, to comment. And if I wasn't able to directly engage with them through the video, it's going back and following up on Twitter or taking it offline somehow.
Yeah, I like what you're saying, Vincenzo, that video is going to be used more just as much internally as it is externally with their community. So, internally I'm talking that back and forth collaboration, whether it's not live or whether it is more live streaming. And then as far as externally, using it with your community, because it's a fantastic way to include that storytelling, to include that transparency, and really showcase, what your company and culture and community stands for. So it's going to be just as big for the internal workings of the system as it is for the people that you're reaching out to.
I guess I'll mine from the standpoint of, I think the art of it is you need to create a strategy and a philosophy that embraces change. Stop focusing on embracing these random new technology and apps that pop up. Create a strategy that allows people to fail, but also gives them the parameters so they don't screw your company. We talk about that, like that element. I think that's the key. I think let's stop focusing on you need to have a Meerkat strategy. If you don't have a video strategy, if they can't access Google Hangouts inside your company, stop worrying about Meerkat. Start worrying about a bigger change philosophy, which means trusting your employees, empowering them to fail, and that all really starts with kind of revamping what it means. I think there's so many companies that are doing great things and nobody knows about it. And I know some people think that's a better way of doing it, but why not highlight that? I want to work for a company, I want to help a company, I want to buy from a company that is doing something as a greater good. And if they can show that, if they can highlight that, if they can give people a peek into that, that's the game changer. And I think it comes in the idea of embracing change a lot more so than just embracing all of these new one-off apps, because we can never keep up with the rate of change that is technology today.
And I think, Brian, your point about transparency and the whole, everyone was mentioning kind of like the shift in millennials. We worry about building relationships, and it all kind of boils down to building relationships with our fans, with our customers, with clients, with potential prospects. We want people to fall in love with our brand. And what real-time streaming allows you to do is it allows you that behind-the-scenes look at your company, at the culture, at the people that work behind the brand, behind the computer screens, behind Twitter, and it gives you that opportunity to build that relationship, I think, tenfold compared to what a text, a text tweet will do, or a static image on Facebook could do. And I think video has been, for the past several years, we've been hearing how important video marketing is, and now that we have all of these tools available to us, it's going to just take off. So the idea of companies no longer being transparent and closing and locking up their doors and everything's kind of hush-hush, that's going to go by the wayside. And because of this real time, you're able to develop those relationships, and I think you're going to see these brands take off because people are going to fall in love with the brand and they're going to trust them, which is ultimately the biggest thing you need from your fans and from your customers.
Awesome. Well, I think if you want to look at the future of video, just look at what the kids are doing. I think it's going to be like a refrigerator, right? We don't all sit around and talk about it. It's just part of the life. It's where we go get food. I think video is going to be not something that it's just going to be part of life. I saw yesterday our little neighbor. He just turned 3 years old. He's walking around with the family iPad talking to his grandma. Who's in Ohio, how many states away, and like it's not like he had to be taught how to do it. He just knows how to use that thing to call his family, and it's just part of his life. He grabbed a yogurt out of the refrigerator with one hand and iPad in the other, and so I think you take a look at YouNow, YouNow.com. They've been doing live stream video for amateur people, for a long time, well before everything's hit kind of the marketing world with Meerkat and Periscope, and people are trying to make names for themselves. They're trying to have everyone hear that cool guitar song they just learned, and they're building friends. And so sort of I think video is the future of video is just really leveling the internet connections, so to speak, on kind of what Twitter did for all of us, what Facebook did. I think video is kind of like this next step, and I don't know if they'll build a social network around video, but that'll be pretty interesting. So I got a quick question, Sherry. I know you got to go, or Dom. What is next week's topic?
I'm still here. It's fine. Next week's topic is talking about building culture in communities, actually, which is why I almost jumped in right after Lori, because she transitioned right into it perfectly. So we're talking with Scott Moore and Jessica Melnick for sure, but we still have a little bit of room on the panel if anyone wants to join.
Awesome. All
hey,
right,
let's talk. Hey, one last quick shout out. So Nurph, I had the opportunity to check out a beta on Nurph for the videos on chat. So how cool is it that on Nurph we could jump on there, chat, and do a video hangout that we're doing here? So I can't wait till that gets fully rolled out. And Neil, keep it up. Keep up the good work. Thank you for that feature. I love it.
You're welcome. Thanks, Vincenzo.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next Friday. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
See you guys. Have a good week.